All right, how y'all doing? Good? When we hit our first slide, I will start talking more intelligently. It's coming soon, right? There we go. All right, most of you who have watched the Andy Griffith Show know that Barney Fife mysteriously disappeared every weekend to go to Raleigh. Well, I'm here to tell you why. He was here to look at our incredible residential architecture that I will share with you tonight. We are the third largest concentration of modernist houses in the country. But first, we're going to go a little bit north to this house. This is Falling Water by Lloyd Wright in Mill Run, Pennsylvania. In 2007, I went up there and was completely inspired. You just have to see this place to believe it. It cannot be captured in pictures or photos or videos. I was possessed, and much like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I stayed up all night building a model that was going to be my future house. I went to Michael's right before closing and got styrofoam and pins and a flashlight and started putting this thing together until by 4 in the morning I had assembled what was going to be my next residence. And it looks like this, all kind of lit up there from the inside. Over the next 2 or 3 years, after persuading my wife that this was possible, which is a whole other presentation, I went and I had this house designed and built by Tonic Design here in Raleigh, Vinny Petrarca, and it took about a year and looks like this. You can have this house, or you can have a traditional house for about the same cost per square foot. That's really one of the biggest secrets of modernist design. And there are tons of great architects and contractors in the area who can do that for you. Now, around this area, there are approximately 1,200 houses that are of modernist design. This is the Julian house in Chapel Hill. These houses are absolutely fascinating because they feel different once you go on the inside. Now, why here? Why Raleigh? It's because of Henry Campheffner. He was the dean of the School of Design who was recruited here in 1948 to make a world-class modernist center, and he did that. And the main way he did it was that he required his faculty to also be practitioners, to design houses for themselves and clients and family and others, and also commercial structures around the triangle. He was so successful that the school became a real go-to spot for people across the country. Frank Lloyd Wright visited here, Richard Neutra, Mies van der Rohe, and a number of others. These houses that you see now are some of the examples around the triangle and the state. Now, what makes a house modernist? Well, there are 4 criteria, really. The first is glass, and lots of it. You want to connect the outside with the inside so you can get nature to be right in there with you. Secondly, a flat or low-pitched roof. Third, interesting, unusual geometry, both inside and outside. And lastly, rooms that are of open plans, where one room tends to flow into the other and makes the best use of the available square space. Professor Eduardo Catalano, who we'll visit with a little bit later, used to teach his students in his thick Argentinian accent at the School of Design that there were 3 E's of architecture: espèce, structure, and scale. Remember the 3 E's of architecture. And modernist houses, they really truly rock if you're into this kind of thing, which I am and my organization is, but the general public is not. However, if you are one of these people, I'm going to tell you tonight about a community that has sprung up that has just been amazing. It's just beyond my wildest dreams. By 2007, I took my initial findings and built a website of about 50 houses. By 2008, we had expanded to about 300 houses and people wanted tours. So we did our first tour. We've done 28 tours so far. By 2009, we started a nonprofit organization and started doing a movie series on architecture at the Galaxy Cinema in Cary. And this is our 3rd year. We've done about 20 movies down there. We also started a series of architecture dinners, which are great fun, small group activities at 18 Seaboard. By 2010, we added a series of happy hours. Our next big party is going to be at the Contemporary Art Museum right here in downtown on April 26th. Hope you all come. And then we'll do those across the summer. We also are doing trips out of town. We've been to Falling Water twice. We've been to Allbrass in South Carolina. We've been to see places by Richard Meyer and Charles Gwathmey. We've been to New York and Washington, and we're planning a trip going to Chicago and a few other places this fall. It's really a fascinating thing to start falling in love with these houses because they're really livable works of art. And I think what is so important about this area is it's really an untapped market. We're starting now to get famous for modernist architecture here because the website attracts about 60,000 people a month. I'm going to close out now with what I think was Barney Fife's favorite house. It was owned by Professor Eduardo Catalano, and it's what made him famous early in his career. Its hyperbolic paraboloid roof was unique throughout the country and the world. People here in Raleigh may not have known about it, but if you were an architect or in design anywhere else, you would have. He only lived there about 4 years, and the house went through a series of other owners. A couple of families, a couple of rentals, until it ended up with its last owner in the 90s. Rain, a broken roof cable, abandonment, a very large snake, rain, all kinds of deterioration, ended up with the worst fate possible, its ultimate destruction, which happened in 2001. This has really inspired me to create the organization and evolve the community to keep this kind of disaster from happening again. We have a ton of these houses that can be saved. I hope that you will look in joining our organization to help our 3 missions: to document the houses, to make sure that they are preserved, and to make sure that we promote the construction of new houses in the area. I'm George Smart, and this has been Mayberry Modernism.